It is pointless to resist.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Sarlacc Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 237, being recorded on December 6th, 2023. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. I got Scott Solo here.
What's up, nerds?
Bootleg Joe.
What's up, guys?
And Grand Admiral Franz down there. Hey, what's up, man?
What is going on?
I know Ernie the
Big
Fallen
news.
Fett will be joining us. He'll be wrapping up his Fallen Fett Chronicles as he always does very early for us, you know. So I know he'll be joining us right in the middle of some heated talk, I'm sure, you know. But before we get into all that good stuff, I know Scott's back, and I'm going to kick it over to him to shout out our Shadow Council / Patreons and the 3 people in our pit being digested right now. So Scott,
So far, we could double up by the time he gets there.
That's true.
Exactly.
That is true.
So Scott, take it away.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. Want to give you a special shout out, especially all of you Shadow Council members. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do this amazing thing that we do every day, every Wednesday, you know, at least whenever I'm in town. So special shout out to AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Brandon and Anya Epler, Mr. Cliff, Crystal E, Dennis McGrath, Don the Dad Dorn, Eric Grubb, Flavy Davy, formerly of the Nerds with Attitude podcast, Gavin Connor, currently, always, from the Holy Hour All Cure podcast, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Mervine Bolanos, Matt Logic, Papa Schmitty, Ryan, and the Star Joes podcast. If you want to join up with the Shadow Council, you can log on to patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest Podcast, or scan that QR code right there on your screen. Donate a couple of bucks a month and you get all sorts of goodies, extra shows, added bonus content. If you donate high enough, you get a t-shirt, and it's not actually that much. It's like $10 for the shirt. It's, join up, donate. We love it when you do. It makes us feel special. It makes us feel pretty.
Pretty.
Glorious.
Well, don't stop there, Scott.
Oh, right. The 3 people in the chat. Yeah.
It didn't double up.
It didn't double.
It didn't double up. No, but we do have Gordon in there. We've got Don the Dad, Dorn, Gavin, Connor, and us. So,
Well, small but
ones that have
mighty.
spoken up.
Yes.
Well, what's going on, guys? I mean, like, trying
Nothing.
to find out what's going on in Star Wars is a bit sketchy these days. Of course, it's kind of given, right? It's the end of the year. We just had all the whatever we did in 2023, and now it's about speculations and all these things.
The
right?
strike is just over now, so they're still kind of just
Like-
licking their wounds and
like
figuring it all out.
officially, right? They signed contracts today, even though it was announced a month ago or whatever. But we're still, we're feeling the effects. And Disney, of course, is feeling the effects. I mean, not just that they're trying to restructure and do things like Disney, Marvel shows and Star Wars shows, like the talks about cutting back and delaying everything. The strikes didn't help. The writing didn't help and everything. So now the one thing that I think something was going on in the UK. I don't know what it was, but it was an event, and Disney was there, and they confirmed that Andor was being pushed back to 2025, so we can knock that off our slate. They only confirmed the live action stuff, like confirmed. So next year we're only getting, as far as live action, Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. We knew this. We don't know dates as far as like when, right? We speculated on that last week as far as like Skeleton Crew being at the end of the year, Acolyte coming before it. They didn't mention anything about the animated shows, so Bad Batch and Tales too. So that we are still expecting that. So we still have a good 4 shows next year. There was some
when they said cutting back, I never took that as Star Wars. I took that as Marvel. Specifically because the way it was in that context, they kept grabbing like tidbits of it. Things that they have said before about the cutback weeks ago, and it was I think they tapped the well too many times too quickly.
I
don't think that was a Star Wars issue.
No, because Star Wars hasn't been in the theaters since 2019. So
right. And all the shows, I mean, we do have a lot of shows, but I don't feel like they're one after the other like Marvel. I can,
Right. And I mean, all the shows have been well received too. You know what I mean? There has been no like dull, stuff like the Marvels or Miss Marvel.
We've had
cheap,
live discussion on stuff, right? But there hasn't been some.
But very popular, nonetheless, right? So,
yeah.
Jake Gooding checking in. Yo, what's up, everyone? Just pop in to say hi. What's up? Hit that like button and back to work. Thanks, Jake. Hit us on the
Jake.
replay, man. But yeah, so I mean, I know what you're saying. I know you're talking Andor. I get it, but as far as like, well, that wasn't that good or whatever.
No, I'm not.
I just finished a rewatch of Andor last night. It's the first time I've seen it since its release date.
Yeah,
and God, that show is so
good.
Yeah, I would watch it twice before we'd come in and comment on it. But this is the first time I actually replayed the whole thing from beginning to end, and oh my God, it's good.
Yeah.
And yes, that is a long funeral march at the end.
Yeah,
and it's worth every minute of it. Whenever
awesome, and it's awesome.
It would have been worth it had she said "F the Empire."
No,
I'd watch it every day.
I'll go to my grave with that, Chris. That you're dead wrong on that.
That's the one time, the easiest place. That was the most emotional place in all. When I go through all the movies, the shows, everything, right then, that could have been the most emotional impact of starting the rebellion type of thing. Like, F the Empire, we're done. Boom. And then season 2 comes on and everybody just full on rebellion.
Yeah.
Everybody's just giving it to the Empire.
Yeah, but not F it in a sexual way. F it as in F them.
I know.
I'm going to blow them
doesn't
up.
fit.
It doesn't.
They're not Vikings.
That's not the. This is not Pirates of the Caribbean 1970 style. All right. This is.
Now we're waiting for Taika Waititi's Star Wars for that.
No, actually, Taika Waititi. Jesus, I watched Thor: Love and Thunder again.
Yeah.
And,
why?
Yeah.
Was it the screaming goats? You really needed the screaming goats.
I've been going through all of Marvel again, given some of the stuff I didn't like before of another second shot, right?
Yeah. Phase 4, meaning Phase 4 or all of it?
All of it, man.
Yeah.
I'm going through just kind of that's where I'm at right now in my replays.
Sure.
And Love and Thunder is a bad movie, dude, through and through.
Yeah.
It's just it looks bad, it sounds bad, it's written bad, it's delivered bad.
I stopped laughing
it's horrible.
20 minutes into the I was like, this is ha ha ha, and then it's like ha, and then it was just like straight face through the rest of the movie. Like, I'm done, I'm over it. Right? Well, it got annoying to me. Everybody in the movie got annoying.
The screaming goats were that's pretty funny. And then around the seventh time they did that, I'm like, oh my god, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Zeus was annoying. Just everything was annoying.
Korg became just a complete gag all the time. I got tired of Korg. The kids at the end. I think I complained about that last time, right? And there's
Jane's character,
the butcher was awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the God Butcher is cool. That's a lot of cool ideas in the film. A lot of really cool stuff happened. Right. A lot of kind of like, and I shouldn't say like episode 2 because episode 2 is fantastic, but it wasn't. But you know what I mean? There was a lot of cool ideas. They didn't really come through at all. Not in the writing, anything. You need to see where like if they had done 20 different things with this idea, this would have been awesome. But instead he effed it. And I don't want him anywhere near Star Wars now, please.
Yeah. Well, everything is coming back up full circle in the Star Wars, like the talks about the movies and everything. And Taika's interview I forgot what it was, and when he went up to Natalie Portman, it's coming back around again. How like, hey, you should be in Star Wars, and she's like, dude, I mean, come on,
Darth Vader is,
to me, when we hear those kind of things, it's like,
baby mama.
Are you that disconnected? Because none of us would make that mistake. I'm sorry.
No,
like in our worst head fog in the world, we would never ever make that mistake.
He'll just rebound by saying, "Oh no, I meant like a voice. You need to be the voice of a animated character because we've not done a full CGI character in Star." Oh wait, I don't know. There's no saving it. There's no saving it. That was just dumb. No.
Well, speaking of Natalie Portman, and Chris brought up episode 2. Well, I started my Star Wars watch, my marathon, if you will, and and it's so funny because like I've done this. I mean, for so many times. I mean, I don't even need to watch the movies anymore, right? But now I started like with Star Wars is the only one I'm doing now is like I'm going through the movie and then I'm going through I went through the trailers first, like for episode 1.
Oh wow.
I went through the trailers, just the 2. And just kind of like getting that was so cool, just in my head, getting like reminiscing, watch the movie, and then I started watching the making of this, episode 1. It's specifically. And then I'm I started episode 2, and I want to do that too. I want to watch the trailers.
Damn.
I'm going into this. Yeah, I'm going into this like reminiscing nostalgia trip when I'm watching Star Wars now. You know what I mean? Instead of just like throwing on another movie, because we do this all the time. It's always on in the background, or we'll skip it. And especially like if something comes relevant in Disney Plus, we'll throw on like when Clone Wars season 7 came, we threw on Attack of the Clones and probably Revenge of the Sith to just bookend them. So now I'm like, I was like, I get that opportunity. Like now let's revisit. It's time to revisit every once in a while. Like let's go through certain things. And it's so funny. Like as Phantom Menace used to be my least favorite prequel, and as watching it and then going back and watching the making of where the one making of where George Lucas is walking up his steps and he's got this yellow notepad and he's writing in pencil. It's like episode 1. I mean, those kind of things. Went back to 94, and you start getting these insights. You start getting into the headspace of where he wanted to go with the movies and where he went with them. And I appreciate him so much. Even like after watching, I go, it's not as like it to me. It's not as bad as it like really, as when I talk to you guys sometimes about it. Where even Attack of the Clones. I know, like, I'm going through it and I'm like, this is all there. It's all there. It's like, and I know I shouldn't have to remind myself it's all there. We already know this is what we do, right? And we live Star Wars, but at the same time, you have these. Well, I do have these little epiphany moments. Like, Star Wars is awesome. It's always awesome. Like, it's always. I'm hoping that when I get into the sequels, I have some of those. I don't know. I'm not there yet. I'm hoping though.
You'll feel it whenever you're looking at the trailers. You'll watch the trailers and you'll be like, get pumped up, and then you'll watch the movie and you'll be like, oh right.
Yeah. The Chewie We're Home trailer, it was like the biggest hype in the world, but yeah, dude.
For Phantom Menace is still pretty hyped up. I still like. I just watched all three. Phantom Menace is still pretty good. I mean, Phantom Menace, Force Awakens. Sorry,
it's cool.
Force Awakens is still pretty great. I love Force Awakens. The other two,
I will say though, like the pod race scene. If you guys seen Ben-Hur, the chariot scene, it is almost beat by beat, shot by shot, the chariot race in Ben-Hur. Even the end when Saboba gets his thing. They connect and he goes off and whatever. Ben-Hur was on TV and I was like, happened to watch the chariots. It was on, and I'm like, holy crap! It's the pod. I mean, it's identical. It really is identical to the pod race. The crash,
especially that scene where he gets launched into the air. He has to turn off the horse's engines and glide back.
Creative liberty and that. Okay, nobody shot at them and stuff, but it was just kind of cool that, like, I don't know, man. It just brought it back to me. Like, George Lucas was such a movie fan, and he did a lot of these things that put into Star Wars.
Could you have cut out half the chariot race and it'd been just fine?
Well, no. And the chariot race was 9 laps or 7 laps too, and they showed every lap.
Jesus, see?
No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the pod racing even more. Like, I would agree with you before, like, okay, it's too long because I haven't revisited, but I thought it was cool. I thought the pacing was cool. I thought the timing of it, where it needed to be. I love the fact that we got thrust into a subculture of Star Wars, and it wasn't, it was like a natural thing that was happening that we, as an audience, as a all that stuff, it just worked. So yeah, there's my take on the pod race again, but I mean, it was cool.
So what you're saying is Phantom Menace isn't half bad.
Exactly. So I can actually, like, when we do our list again, I can actually probably put that before episode 2 again. I always had 3, 2, 1. That's always in my prequel stuff. It was always 3, 2, 1.
That's still mine. You're out.
It's still now it might be 3, 1, 2. I don't.
Did you get to 2 yet, or are you just on 1 right now? And no. Are you still stuck on? Are you still in the pod race? Because it takes a long time.
2 days later,
right? Are you through it?
No. I'm at episode 2. I'm there.
Okay. Well, when you get through episode 2, you'll change your mind back because you'll be like,
"Oh, I'm on episode 2. They're frolicking in the fields right now." So,
that's okay. Well, after that, everything gets much better. So you're
after that, but that was 30 minutes to that scene. Okay, so just to remind you,
not of that scene though.
No. To get there, it was like 30 minutes.
But before that was fine. The explosions, the stuff, that was all cool. It was just, the scene sucked. And even the bad scene in the winning scene.
It was, I'm past that scene. I'm past it's
okay, let me ask you guys this. What's the one scene that irks you guys the most out of episode 2 or episode 1?
It's just gonna make me sound like a dick whenever I respond.
No, no, because I want to know, because when I watch them, I go in with like I guess you could call it a kid's heart, like a
sure. I do,
heart, and I don't see the I mean, I see it, but it doesn't make it to the point where I'm like, man, this.
Yeah, it's not. It's you know why it's not cringy anymore? Because it's. I mean, we've watched it so many times, and like now we're when we're looking, like when I watch it now, I am like hyper focused on the film. I'm hyper focused on Anakin and Padme, and trying in my head to be like, where's that connection? Like, he's infatuated with her. When does she become infatuated with him? Like, when does that start? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm
never
trying to like. Well, no, it's there, but it's a little bit fast.
This is how I see it. I see it as a bowl of cornflakes, right? I see episodes 1 and 2 and 3 as a bowl of cornflakes with nothing in it, just milk. And then Clone Wars came along and put in the bananas and the sugar, and now it's just like, oh.
Knowing with everything, sure. I'm gonna mix it. Yeah, knowing
as far as cringe goes, I don't know if there's scenes that make me cringe like from anything besides the Jedi Rocks. Jedi Rocks is a cringe. That's a cringe. I'm embarrassed for George Lucas.
Right there,
that scene. Right, it makes me want to turn it. If anybody's watching it, I want to pretend it's not me in the room.
Yes,
that kind of thing. Right,
that's right.
The problem is I have our length of scenes. I guess where I think this really could have been cut. We could have made this movie probably 10 minutes shorter, 5 minutes shorter. Right. You're doing because I've complained about them all, the pod race, and I believe that's an extended pod race at this point.
It is
lives, right.
It
so
is. Yeah.
It went from long but manageable to damn. Yeah. The Hoth scene again. Growing up, the Hoth scene is fine. You love the Hoth scene. Now that's extended as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot going on. Right. So
is it?
That's been extended since the special edition, the first special edition.
There's a couple extra shots in there.
Yeah, it's got a couple extra minutes.
Yeah.
Minutes in there. And then so those two are super long. And then obviously but those are the adjusted stuff, right?
Yeah.
Andor, my complaint is the damn funeral, and that's just long on purpose. If they ever do an extended edition of that, get out of here. Right? That's
the funeral part A, the funeral part B.
It's all Peter Jackson shit, right? He's trying to make the Hobbit. They're trying to make
the
Hobbit into 3 movies.
3 episodes.
Yeah, that's what's going on. They keep doing.
You know what, Chris? Scenes. Sometimes you say thank you for the extended scenes.
Sometimes, if it was, if it was a lightsaber duel, I would. If it was even some kind of back office meeting between good guys and bad guys stuff, I'd be cool with it. But I just wasn't cool with the pod race because it's a NASCAR race, really. I don't need to keep sitting. I'm going left. Well, I don't know.
Just sit in the moment. Just enjoy the moment. That's what I tend to do. I've worked.
Yeah, but you got to remember though, Phantom Menace. The problem with that too, though, 17 times in the theater when it came out. So when you're talking about times where the theater when the movie
only 12 minutes back then. But.
It's all but it's always that spot where okay, this is the part where they can speed it up.
Yeah,
just get me to where Anakin hits the button 3 times.
Right.
That's all. That's where I start Phantom Menace anymore.
Oh, jeez.
See, all right, I don't personally have a problem with Phantom Menace, other than some of the over the top goofy stuff like Jar Jar's Misa, this Yusa, all that. The stepping in crap and all the gags. I think it's the gags in the Phantom Menace that get me kind of like stop it. It's all of the dialogue in episode 2 between Anakin and Padme, and even some of the stuff like Count Dooku. Oh no, my friend, they've gone too far. What do you do? What are they doing? Why are you hidden? Why are you floating? Whatever it is that he says right there. I'm like, the dialogue in that movie
put you in these handcuffs. You did.
Yeah.
Oh, not me.
Oh, what are you talking about? But he says stupid shit like that. But then in the next sentence, it's like, what if I were to tell you that the Senate is controlled by a Sith Lord? I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So it's the Attack of the Clones is equal parts. Shut the hell up and oh my God, keep talking. Where's the good stuff? Stop doing this and do more of that. And that's where Joey comes in and says, it's the bananas and the strawberries and the cornflakes, man. With the Clone Wars, it's
Well, before I answer that, I'm gonna let's catch up with that. So we got a Facebook user. I don't know who's over there, Scott, but he says hello there.
I'll go check.
Okay, Matt Logic checking in. Evening all. We got Brian C. Evening all. Good to see you. And of course, Gordon saying, Joey always has the great food analogies. It's so true. And then Brian C. coming back in with Ernie is having too much fun over at the Fallen Fat Chronicles. Yeah, he always does. He always starts his show around 7:40. It's an hour and a half of intro, and then he gets this. So it's funny. But to the both of your guys' points, actually all the 3 of your guys' points.
Matthew Carlisle is on Facebook.
Cool.
What's up, Matthew?
Welcome, sir. Welcome. So. Back in the day, like back in the day in the movie theaters, like when we all fell asleep on our second viewing of episode 3, and I woke up when Grievous was getting killed. I was like, okay, cool. Like get to the cool. It's those watches like when you and I used to have the marathon watches. Yeah, that's when things get a little bit like drawn because there's a more important scenes and more important things that we love about Star Wars that we want to get to. But when you take your time, when I go I don't even finish a movie in a day. I go like half the movie. And then I'll finish it tomorrow. Like just to really marinate myself into it and really get into it. I think that's why Star Wars works so well, because you can do that with Star Wars. There's a lot of other movies you just want to, like Marvel movies, just get to the end because I want to get to the end credits. I want to get to I want to get to an Avengers movie. You know what I mean? With Star Wars and like all those scenes, and I was really trying to like with the pod race. It's just like I said, it thrusts you into that subcultural world. With Padme and Anakin, I always thought there was no chemistry. I'm trying to like force myself into that chemistry. On his infatuation with her, we get, but her infatuation with him is the hard part, right?
Yeah,
that was the stuff that I'm trying to rewatch and like with like really hyper focus on her falling in love with Anakin, because by episode 3 she's like, I just can't live without you. It just
she marries him by the end of 2.
Yeah,
right. So you go from being a kid in 1. To hey, always that little
you've
boy.
Grown up and all these things by the beginning of episode 2 to the at the end when they're about to die. It's I love you. You know, truly, like so deeply. I'm trying to like buy into it. I'm trying to like when I'm watching, I'm going, okay, come on.
Oh, see, you're messing with me now. I never.
I know.
I was totally okay, but you know what? That's just as bad as Han and Leia, to be honest. I'm. Leia aren't exactly.
I see that more as a fling. Or I saw it as a fling. Well, Han thought
a fling. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
that's exactly what I'm saying.
When you're tied up and you're getting ready to be thrusted into the death pit, you say the darndest things. So
yeah, you do. And either way, right?
Yeah.
Both the I love yous came at those times.
Yes. Yeah. So, I saw Han Solo as a fling, and Leia is the one who fell in love with him late, like
the I know thing. But was perfect, right?
But I buy it. I buy it because at that point you've had 2 movies of adults bickering back and forth. There was instant tension between those 2. There was instant chemistry with those 2.
Yeah. Well, the chemistry
with the entire cast. There is no chemistry at all. At all between Hayden and Natalie, and it's just. And that's not saying anything against those 2 actors. They just they don't. I think it's a lot of it's a dialogue too. I think had they better dialogue, maybe the chemistry would have come out. But there's zero there.
Well, that's the key word you said. The dialogue. There's zero dialogue that links her to him. There's no dialogue.
Harrison Ford is a smooth talker, class.
Yeah,
actor, right.
A lot of it, he got it.
Sorry, Hayden, but Harrison Ford is smooth.
Yeah.
Him coming across that way he comes across as a smuggler, smuggler.
Absolutely. In this right here,
you're right. Hayden didn't pull it off. You're right.
Gavin Connor, they were directed. Love George Lucas, but prequels felt like first takes. That is where I was getting at with the dialogue. It's like he wrote a first draft dialogue, and then on the second and third, fourth revisions, it was like just change the spaceship here and changes. But he kept the dialogue of that first draft all in there, and it was very, like I said, wooden and everything. But
what it does do, what the prequels do well, is it goes linear, right? Like you see this path of hey, we found this kid. Let's train him. Oh no, we can't. We lose a person. Boom, boom, boom. A little bit later, okay, now we're growing up a little bit. He's having some he's obviously got a little bit of a dark side. Finds his girl. Boom, boom, boom. Falls in love. Love's gonna save him. Good and linear, right? Like I can see this path of everybody's character.
Right.
That's where the sequels fall apart.
I had my biggest problem back in 99, 2002, and 2005 was, wow, Anakin turned really fast. I didn't get a chance to like see this, but. It's all
you didn't get the marinade on it. There was no marination there.
Yeah. But it is there. Like, I mean, the first scene between Anakin and Padme alone, he's complaining about Obi-Wan like crazy. Yeah. It's that build up to where it's that brother against brother. It's there. It's just that within a 2-hour movie, shit has to happen.
And he hadn't gone dark there, so you had a whole another 3 years to let it marinate for us and talk about it.
Right?
In between,
yeah. That's
plus
true.
The micro series.
Yeah. Exactly. So we got TK767, which is Julianne Fernie. Hey, what's up, Julie? Let's see. Brian C. A fan edit of the prequels cut out like 90% of the childhood Anakin scenes. Yeah, all the Jar Jar scenes were gone. I mean, there was like a very like A, B, C, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Michael's here. Yeah,
it's
sorry.
not
Michael.
It really isn't a bad film.
It isn't, dude. Like I'm telling you, like if you really go in there with a different kind of like relax and mindset, you really get it all there. And it's hard to portray that to somebody. Like just watch, it's there. If you read it, I'm sure like, oh, I get it as I'm reading it, but I said as it was presented to us, it was a little choppy.
It's
not a complaint. It's just
the look and the acting, and okay, I'm going to compare sequels to prequels right here.
Sure.
The look and the acting in the sequels are like far and away better than the prequels, right?
Yeah.
But the story, the pacing, the outline of the prequels was far superior than the sequels, right?
Yes.
The original wins on all counts, but it's a pretty wild setup. If they could have just made the prequels look, if we could redo the prequels now, same get up with the kind of look and stuff we had there, it'd be pretty awesome.
No, I 100% agree with you. The sequels had this problem of all these plots. Everybody's like, well, why? Nobody.
And
at
to
least
me,
with the prequels, it was like, here's the setting of the galactic conflict, and here's the Sith Lord infiltration, here's the Jedis and their fall, and then here's Anakin and his redemption story, and or how the downfall of Anakin.
Everything we saw in the prequels, like, oh whoa, we get to see, we get to see, where everything in the sequels is like, oh man, when are we gonna see?
Yeah.
Part of me wishes that I was of the age where The Phantom Menace was the first movie I'd seen in the Star Wars saga, and I had seen everything step by step to the fall of Darth, to where he becomes Darth Vader, and be that in that seat going, oh my God, what just happened? Being spoiled with the original trilogy, it just going back and having all these lofty expectations.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is that too. It's our expectations of what we wanted to see and what we were given.
And we knew the outcome.
Coming to terms with that,
Yeah. And we all knew the outcome. It's that thing like when the prequels were announced, it's like, okay, we're going to go back and see. I was excited to see the galactic state of affairs, like how then we're going to see like the council. We're going to see, Anakin grow up and become Darth Vader. Yeah, like become Darth Vader. How has he become him? And but yeah, somebody that grew up with the prequels, it's just a little bit of like, okay, now they get to go through the whole thing. And I'm sure they have the complaints of like how the original trilogy is slower paced, slower acted, aged, and but I mean, to us, we're like, that's gold.
Yeah, that was that's to Scott's point a minute ago about he would kind of wish he'd seen episode 1 first. I don't know if I'd love Star Wars the same if I saw.
I wouldn't
first.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
Yeah. I don't think
it had to be the way we saw it. It had to work exactly the way it did, or it wouldn't have. It was kind of magic the way it worked.
Absolutely.
No, I just mean as far as maybe I would have a greater appreciation for the prequels had those been my journey through Star Wars.
Gotcha.
I do now. I don't think I gave it the going back into that era of the prequels, like when everything was popping and we were collecting and everything was just every billboard, every TV spot, and we go into the movie theater, watch a trailer and bounce, right?
Every
like,
Pepsi machine.
Yeah. It was just, I think it was like, because us as kids, even though like Scott, you saw the original at the theaters and all that stuff, but you weren't old enough to have that hype and that world hype of like watching TV and then growing up to have like the first ever sci-fi like this in your face. It was just like, boom, that was your first sci-fi, boom, you're in. And
almost like it's normal because it's part of your life at that point, right? Like, it's like, kids grew up with cell phones.
Exactly. Yeah. Welcome, Ernie.
Ernie,
how you doing?
Cutting off early over there, I see. All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're good, man. You're good. Yeah. So I was.
They should have told you though. I was being late.
Yeah, they did.
They've been telling us.
The pit got us. That we got you. We got you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So I was like, I think that what was the best times for me was the prequel times of the hype to the releases, to the hype to the releases, the hype releases, and we lived in that world, and it was so fun. I didn't give it I'm sorry. The point was I didn't give it enough time. I didn't give it the how I give the credit to the prequels today when I watch them and how much I love them. I didn't back in the day. It was like I love the hype around the movie more than the movies, and it took me a while to really grasp what the prequels actually did, and I appreciate them so much now. Like I really do. The
first movie I ever remember being hyped for was Return of the Jedi. because, you know, when Empire Strikes Back came out, I was too young to realize, you know, that, oh, it's a Star Wars seat. This is great. There's more Star Wars.
Right.
But Return of the Jedi is the first movie that I was ever truly pumped at. And yeah, man, when 1999 hit and we had The Phantom Menace, all of a sudden it was that same feeling, that rising excitement, you know?
Yeah.
And I just,
it was a fun times for cinema. I mean, it just was like all around, dude. It was pretty cool.
I mean, I would not have seen Meet Joe Black or The Water Boy had there not been, you know, Star Wars Phantom Menace trailers before both of those movies.
I don't know what I went to go see because I just, like I said, went in, watched a trailer, bounced. I was gone. I was like, I don't care what's coming next. I just want Star Wars. But so Ernie, we're talking about like, you know, doing our rewatching marathons and stuff like that. So I was telling him like how I was into the Phantom Menace and now I'm Attack of the Clones with the prequels. And now
this guy right here, he's doing it like a pro.
I did it like I was watching the trailers first, and then I watched Phantom Menace, and then I watched the making of, and then I watched the trailers for episode 2, and then I'm watching. So I'm reliving that the you know, that time. I've never done it that way before, so it's fun. Actually,
I was just talking to Corinne about that last night because we watched Elf last night and seeing the funniness of it. Well, do you remember DVD stuff back in the day that came with bloopers or the making or the extra?
I watch it every year. Yeah,
correct. So you don't get that now with the streaming media. Yeah, like there's no way to say to go to that.
Right. I had to put my DVDs in for the makings of and all that.
See, that's what I'm saying, and I knew that. I knew that exactly without even talking about it.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to get it now. And that is a loss with our streaming stuff, where I feel like that should be a whole subsection of a choice for you. You know,
I wish
also
Disney
like
Plus had, I mean, they have makings of, but I wish they had those features in the Disney Plus. That's when DVDs were awesome. You get like the deluxe set and you have all these like extra, you know,
so and that's what I'm saying. And now you don't get that with the streaming platforms. I think there should be that. So yeah, you are going hardcore because on
I love it.
I was just trying to watch them like you would on TV, but without commercials.
A normal watch. That's what I told myself. I was doing that with like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter and stuff, but like with Star Wars, I'm like, all right, because that's you know, our number one thing, and there's everything else in this world that we enjoy. I really wanted to just kind of like immerse myself in the experience in a way of not just like movie, because I was telling us how we do that on our off time anyway. We throw something in the background. I'll like randomly put on Return of the Jedi, randomly put on episode 3 Solo. No, but now this is kind of like reliving those moments, and it's kind of fun, you know. It is every time when I watch the making of, there's always something I go, I didn't know that. Like, for example, I didn't know. I mean, I kind of knew, but maybe I forgot. I didn't know George Lucas started writing the prequels in '94. I thought it was a little bit later than that. Not November 1st, 1994, right? That's a great trivia question. But that I didn't know that. Like
Take note,
that early. Yeah, I didn't know that early that he was writing, that he decided to write, you know, the prequels in '94.
And it specifically said that in the making of?
Yeah, it was. There's a making
yellow notepad.
Right. Yeah, it's not the one that's on Disney Plus. It's the one that it follows George Lucas, almost like a home video thing, and it follows his day-to-day lives and how he's writing and how he's casting and how he went to like Doug Chang and like, let's get models together. And before we even approach any actor, it was like this big buildup, and that to me interests the hell out of me. I love that behind the scenes stuff, you know. But
I love watching those too. It drives Julie crazy. She doesn't want to know how the special sauce is made. She just wants to watch the movie. I want to know every aspect. I want to know where I've seen that actor before. I want to know.
I love it, dude.
Everything. It's part of the process.
It doesn't kill any mystery for me. It really doesn't. I don't know about you guys, but like behind the scenes making of,
it's Star Wars that started that, because the very first behind the scenes I ever watched was the making of Star Wars with R2.
The TV chat, the special.
Yeah. That was the very first one.
Yeah. There are some I enjoy, but sometimes I don't want to see behind the curtain either. We've talked about that before, though, right? That the Mandalorian, though, those ones, what do they call them?
So good.
The galleries. I did enjoy those. The first one.
The round table. The round table.
Oh, I enjoyed the hell out of that one, dude. That's the way they should be doing them all, and I don't know why they switched away from that. That was a cool.
I just brought that up too, and that was so funny. Is Have you gone to all of them now? So the first one was 8 episodes.
Yeah,
and then it got
exactly.
cut down to 4, and then it got cut down to just 1. Yeah.
Now it's like a 5-minute trailer of what we just watched. Now it's like that.
Hey, did you like making it? Sure did.
Yeah.
And that's it. Disney rolls the credits.
No, it was that first one was
I would
classic.
love that 8-part series.
The first one was really it was episode by episode.
It was a deep dive.
So maybe that was a bit much. Maybe because it was a deep dive, but it was almost like Talking Dead or stuff like that after a show, right? You had a whole lot in there.
They discussed the creatures, they discussed the volume, they discussed the concept. I mean, it was just like,
what Chris just said was really good. If there was a Talking Dead style after show for every episode of Star Wars, would you guys in the pit tune in?
Yeah,
to watch
what we do every Wednesday.
I know, but if there was actually one on Disney Plus, would you tune in and watch it?
Yes, I would. Absolutely.
With the actors and the creators and the whole day. I would. I mean, I would too. I mean, it's just, why not?
Do you guys watch Talking Dead?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It was my second. Yeah. It was my second favorite show next to the Podcasting Dead.
Yeah.
Hey!
I see what you did there.
You can catch all those old shows with me, Marco.
I don't watch Talking Dead, but I was on a show with Chris Hardwick years and years ago. So
you were.
Yes, you were. I went and saw Chris Hardwick at midnight. So,
if you say and Jenny McCarthy was a co-host.
Yeah. Jenny McCarthy touched my leg, so get out, boy.
No, she did not.
She did. I was one of the 50 dudes or 25? I forget what it was, right? Singled out, yeah. And we went 2 episodes. First of all, I'm going to go into story mode now. First of all, they take us in a room, and how you get in there is we're 18. I remember this very clearly in my bachelor pad smoking dope, playing NFL Blitz, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you call up the phone number after you watch Singled Out and start leaving messages like crazy and doing stupid shit and saying stupid shit. And all of a sudden you get a phone call back. Hey, Chris, you want to come out to be on Singled Out? I'm like, sure. Can I bring some buddies? Sure. So me and a couple guys go down there, and they're feeding us McDonald's all day and going through this. It's probably like 6 hours of rules. And every couple minutes you hear the rule, hey, guys, don't touch Jenny or she's going to kick you in the nuts. Don't catch Jenny because she's going to kick you in the nuts, right? So then they get us all out on here, and we're the 50 guys, whatever, around there. And first of all, I hear, and I don't do nothing, right? And all of a sudden, there's a tap on my leg by my pocket, the front of my pocket, right?
Right. All right.
We're talking this close now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like I'm getting abused by Jenny McCarthy. Right? I look over, and it's Jenny. I'm like, oh, hey. And then she's like, excuse me. I'm like, sure. So she goes right here. Right now she's on my front, and he's like, "Hey guys, what happens if you touch Jenny?" And you hear 50 dudes, she'll kick us in the nuts. And she doesn't miss a beat. She's all, "Yes, I will." Just like that. And I'm like, damn, all right, well, she touched me.
That's funny.
And then the worst part was, so after this, right, I get eliminated twice. Once because I'm too young, and once because I'm too tall.
She tried to tell you that you had autism because you got vaccinated. Is that what she did?
This was back in the 90s now. But anyway. Fuck, what was going on?
Yeah, you got eliminated.
You got eliminated twice.
I get eliminated because you know how they used to do the names and stuff, right? I was too tall, so this is how it went. It went Kermit and Barney, and I think I'm safe, right? But then they threw out a third option for Godzilla, like this type of thing. You got 3 different things to kick me out. So she saw they like kicked out Kermit because they were short, and then Godzilla because it was too tall. I'm like, son of a bitch, so I was out. And the other one, I was 18, so I got kicked out there. So. Still wearing an angel hat right through the camera every time. But here's the worst part. So after it, they make you dance and do this little thing over by this stage, right? That's how this ends the thing. Well, I get bumped, right? And I'm right on the step. The step's right on my heel. So I start to fall. I go to grab my buddy. It was Tim. I go to grab my buddy Tim, and he's stoned. He don't know what's going on. He just goes, what? And turns like that. So my hand moves, and I can't, and I biff it backwards. And all you see, and Jenny's right there. And she's looking right over me like this. Blew every chance I had, luckily, or else I wouldn't have my kids today. You know, if Jenny and I had hooked up, it would have screwed up my whole life forever.
That would have been.
It was a twist of fate, is how I saw it. A literal.
She didn't help you. It's like that Office episode where Jim let Michael fall in the pond. Jenny McCarthy just let you fall.
Tim let me fall into my ass.
Yeah.
All right,
rest
sorry, that was a
of
long.
history.
Sorry, that was a weird tangent. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's
That's what.
great.
That's
Reverse
what
it back to Chris Hardwick, back to Talking Dead, and yes, I'll watch
Talking Dead. Yes,
Talking Dead.
I would definitely watch that because it was a good show because the way that they ran it with the little trivia in between the commercials and after the segment, you have different stars of that episode, and then you got to break it down from their experiences. I love the Talking Dead. I thought it was great. It didn't reveal that much.
Right.
You got their perspective. I would definitely watch something like they did that with Ahsoka. That would have been
incredible.
a whole nother show that I think
almost
would have
every episode you had a new
points.
character come in or something come
correct.
in. You could have had somebody pop in, start talking, blah 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 blah, about the experience, or even if you couldn't do it right after, tape it at least and have it ready. So when the whole
100%.
series is done, you have one for every episode. And then you
the
can do it
biggest,
later. But
the biggest takeaway for something like that, having an official like 1 hour show after something like Ahsoka would be, to me, I would be like, edge of my seat, waiting to hear about how they introduce certain characters and lore that they pulled and lore that they know, like Mortis, gods, like Balin's role. They would be discussing it there and then pulling stuff from like EU and really getting into and that's where I feel
that's where they wouldn't.
They probably can't.
That's why I said they may have to release it later on the after. Because they probably couldn't do it with Star Wars right after.
Yeah, because I don't think most of the people involved don't go
because Talking Dead is different because they can talk about what's happening in the show, what they hope happens based on the comic books, right? And it kind of does a little bit of a mix. With Star Wars, we've tried to get people, the creatives, to theory craft with us, and they won't. So it'd be really hard to do that on a show after. Damn, that sucks. That would be cool, but
it would just be Dave. I mean, if it's Dave Filoni sitting there talking to us, be like, we're pulling this planet that he's going to save Ezra. This is happening to Night Sisters, blah blah blah. And then again, I would love to hear factual stuff on how they know the Star Wars lore around them and pulling in these things for us to view. That's where I'm more interested in, rather than
where'd you get the idea of this? Is this inspired by something?
Someone's experience on it.
I could absolutely see Chris Bartlett hosting it. Chris Bartlett, the man behind the mask, the new man behind the masks.
Mm-hmm.
They're hosting the thing, getting some of the actors to pop in. How did you, how is this how'd that costume feel? That just something stupid like that would still be intriguing to listen to.
Well, we'd get a lot of Balin talk too at the beginning. It's like, how does this, and then maybe they can address. Well, I think Dave Filoni did kind of address some of it. Like now is the time to really start thinking about his character and where it's going to go and how do we move on from it. And so they're like I said, a lot of people, because there's silent, that they're not thinking about it, but they are. They're very conscious of.
Of course, they're thinking about it. That was a huge point. But
I think Dave Filoni, I think
stress.
And he said, look, there's a lot of story for Balin, a lot of story that they would like to explore. Now, whether that changes, I think that's where they're debating right now. Within the story groups in Lucasfilm right now and Disney is like, how do we do this? Do we do it? I know there's a lot more to do, but
almost like
treat it
almost like they'd have to do what they could do is a micro series of Balin before Ahsoka 2, take care of his whole storyline with just a voice actor, right, and then move us on. But you'd have to follow that micro series to understand Ahsoka 2.
That's true too.
Unless you just recast it and move on with the story like it was supposed to be. And I think that's all they're going to do.
They did it with Dumbledore. I mean,
whatever the plan was before, just keep it the same now, and just we'll all recast. Every one of us. Who's gonna not accept a recast on somebody who passed away? Right.
That's what I'm saying. We would. Everybody shouldn't say anything about an actor, like recasting an actor that's no longer with us. If it was a War Machine thing where it's like, we're getting rid of this actor and putting that. That's where we will all become like, look. Continuity is the most important thing in Star Wars.
Yeah, I watched that today too. Iron Man today.
That is like the most trippiest thing because like you went on to do all of these movies and you were recasted I don't know,
out of there and now Don Cheadle.
Yeah,
come on,
that's a lot. Yeah, you're right to that effect.
I saw an interview with him lately saying he said it was him.
Yeah, I've seen the same.
Yeah. He said he wanted War Machine to be bigger, have a big. He said it right, like have a bigger spotlight. He wanted his own film and more money, and they weren't going that route.
Wanted more money.
He basically they just gave it to Don. And I could give it to him. He said him and Don are fine, right?
Yeah.
And da 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 da. He just wanted to do other things. Yeah. Probably I don't know. I think it was a dumb move because War Machine's in freaking everything, right?
Yeah, he did have a huge role. He had a huge role. Yeah, exactly.
I saw the same one too, and he said it was money as a factor of it.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to respect the money.
Fans, I mean, again, we're not in the business of movie making. We consume. We're consumers. It sucks for us. We honestly, most of us can care less about like the financials or the box office. We just want the content to be good because what we do is we live this stuff. We carry on with it. We talk about it. So when it comes to like actors and pay, like quite honestly, like the strike stuff, we're just kind of like, look, that's that world. What we're not in that world. If we start to do that with our entertainment gets a little bit watered down and it becomes too political and too whatever. We just want, like I said, consume and like I had the hardest time to figure out what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to watch movies during a strike or am I supposed to support the actors? What am I? And then like we're the ones that were left out of this whole equation. You know what I mean? So when it comes to like an actor saying I want more money and stuff, I'm just like, but you ruined War Machine. Basically, you ruined the continuity of the look of War Machine moving forward. That's what you did to us.
But did it bother you as much? Does it really bother you? Because I watched it. I told you.
Not for Mark. If it did in Star Wars, if that was like, say for example, if Harrison Ford and A New Hope came and all of a sudden he wanted, because he was becoming a big star, by Empire Strikes Back, and they put in, somebody else because it was a money thing. Today it would bother me. Yeah, as a kid, I probably would like.
But I mean, what I'm saying is it mattered in the very beginning, right? When you had the movie by movie, when you went boom, boom, that mattered right then. We're 20 movies deep now.
Yeah.
Right? 20 something movies deep. That War Machine has made scattered appearances. Do I ever think back to Iron Man?
Not anymore. Not exactly. No.
Do you ever think back
because it was at the beginning? No, because it was at the beginning. I think if it was like midway and then it was kind of abrupt, and because it was one movie. Yeah. So.
The funny thing with Star Wars though is it's all over the place because we had Grand Moff Tarkin show up in Rogue One and that was amazing, right?
It was great.
And then you get a young Solo with a whole new actor.
Yeah,
with Solo.
It's still rough. It's not. I think that's a huge problem with fans. I think the Star Wars fans with Solo was the big test. And I don't think Lucasfilm. I think so. I don't think they'll ever do it again.
But I think the test was flawed because it was 6 months after their biggest
that didn't help
divisive film where we're still we're still fighting now. About
we are.
Jedi. It was fresh right then. Everybody still had black eyes. Right, we were still going at it hard about Last Jedi.
No, you're right.
And they threw Solo at us in the middle of it. And they just
it was a perfect storm for negativity. It really was. But I mean, it's still kind of like I can watch Solo and
big. I think isn't that the same time like everything was going nuts. Like everybody was so negative.
I can watch Solo and enjoy the hell out of it and just put my mind like that's Han Solo. That's a young. But
I can watch them all in a row and not flinch until I get to 9. I can even get through Last Jedi pretty well. I flinch at 9. Yeah.
There was still a perceived trajectory. And that's
real or not, there was a perceived. Yeah, you're right. There was a perceived.
Yeah.
What sucked the most is I had to eat my words on that too. I really did.
Yeah, no, I hate admitting I'm wrong, but yeah.
I know that we talked about it, but I do love Solo as a movie.
Yeah, of course.
He played it as a character, but we've had discussions of this, and I'm so 50-50 because yes, I feel like okay, let him take on a solo role now, like if he were to show up in Mando or something, right?
Yep.
Or do you DH?
No, I say DH and CGI. That's me though. That's me. Okay, guys.
You have
that's
to.
What I'm saying.
It's
They've done so much with Luke. They've done so much with Luke. They've even done Leia now. In Rogue One. I think
I'd say go for it.
I think it needs to be CGI. I think it needs to be deep faked like they did in Mando with Luke.
Pre-New Hope can be recast.
That's what if it's a solo 2 in that time frame, then that's fine.
That's
fine.
If they're younger than the
time frame,
younger than the characters, you can recast. Same age or older, you've got a CGI.
Yeah.
So if you have the Lando stuff come out, you need to have him.
If it was like pre a New Hope, then yeah. But like if it was Lando Chronicles going forward after Return or in between, then
it'll be Donald Glover because he's mostly writing it anyway. Anything we see of Billy D is going to be what we've always talked about. Yeah, right? I swear, at a sabacc table telling stories. So you don't need to do anything.
It's so funny, like. It worked for Glover. It worked for Lando. It did for the movie Solo. It worked. It really does work.
Glover it really did work.
It was
Glover
like
fantastic.
It was even the vocals.
That's what I'm saying. It's a hard thing.
Yeah,
I can get the point that you guys are making about that though. If it's pre and like that, then maybe there should be some rules. I do want to see another solo film with him though. Like
I do too.
That's so unfinished.
I think it's actually necessary. But
we talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
But this whole Balin thing of a recasting is, I hope you don't get those stupid comments. I mean,
he will, but at the same time,
and he passed away. Unfortunately, like the story has to go on. Like it's not going to be done in ill will or a rude way or anything like that. Like you have to understand that we have.
It's not like it's not like they're casting somebody else's Cara Dune. You know, that would send people into a rage. Right?
If we had a cliffhanger with Cara Dune and they just like cut and it had this political, and then we never saw from again, like that's something that we would go, hey, look, get over this and let's move on. But her story was done. Like, but I don't.
And they even talked through it.
Yeah.
They closed her up.
I mean, yes, you could do more stuff with her, but as far as like the Manda and what he was doing, you know, what we got, not what they could have gotten. It was good, but with Balin, I would respect Lucasfilm, the writing team, to continue the story of Balin, assuming that they have a huge story for him. Okay, not assuming that he's just like a very
he's standing on the father.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that there was a lot more going on, like a lot more, not just to write him out just cause. I would respect them more to continue their show recast as a character. And as respect for what, he did to that character and bring it so much like just
and the rest of the crew.
Then to rewrite it out of the future. I would respect and even if it's a look that we can go like, okay, look, it's a different actor, obviously. That's fine. Let's just move forward with it. I think we can all collectively
you just got to keep it a gray-haired, imposing.
Oh yeah, I can't.
White dude with an accent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you got to be. You just can't.
Yeah.
Don't go swapping things right now. You got to make it almost look like
short.
Liev Schreiber was the best look. What everybody's looking at. But man, when does a fan cast ever work, right?
And he's a good actor too.
Yeah, we'll just trust these people's abilities to cast folks. But
I want to
I think kill it.
I was gonna check in with the chat, but you go ahead.
Mando Mike saying they made a younger CGI Indy for Dial of Destiny. Of course, to make a young person. It really did work.
Yeah,
cut and paste.
There
wasn't even any of that uncanny valley shit that usually happens with the CGI characters. Like Tarkin, kind of, Leia was kind of, but by the time we get to Indy, no man, that is solid technology.
Like that's a good point for him, and because with the Heir to the Empire movie, we'll get shit on. I mean, not shit on. We'll shit all over Filoni if he has this opportunity right now, and we've seen Luke, to not bring everybody in by the end, because that will be what everybody wanted from the sequels. We'll get it here, and we'll be good, right?
There was an
CGI
article,
test was pretty smart.
Yeah, and I believe that was a test. There was an article that I saw, and it said something to the fact of like, not now, but before when Disney first took over, they were afraid of going to Luke and Leia and Han as like the legacy and bring them in. That's why they went the directions they did. And they, in the article, kind of went and said, now they know the mistakes, because look at what the Mandalorian did with Luke, bring him in. The way they did it made us just not even blink. You know what I mean? As far as like Luke's story moving, because what we understand and what creatives need to understand is that we look at story first. Yes. And then, if the technology behind it, the very first, when Luke first came in, it was like, oh God, but I
thought it was Sebastian Stan. That's who I thought it was. I hit my kid and I'm all, oh man, look, that's Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Now Luke and Book of Fett was amazing. Luke, Luke and Mando season 2 at the end was like, oh my God. The first thing was like, it's Luke is back and this is what he's doing. Before I even noticed like what Scott was kind of like saying, a little bit off, and then they went ahead and touched it up later. That stuff is secondary sometimes. Yeah. If it's really off, then we're like, oh, whoa, that ain't working. But
what's needed, they probably realized is they used Luke Skywalker, right? Yeah. And it was an awesome couple moments for Luke, and we all loved it. But we're not screaming for it every time, right? They filled our need for it, and I think Filoni knows that, and we still have a need for the reunion.
Leave him wanting more,
Yeah,
I love it.
By the end, he'll fill it all.
Yeah, I don't need like I said at this point, you don't need a 2-hour movie of Luke Skywalker's adventure, but putting him intertwined, even Han, putting intertwined with stuff we've got would be fantastic because it puts Star Wars in that state of what we love about it, and our characters are still there. They might not be running the show, but they're there. Just like my kind of argument with Andor, by you said, look, there's missing all these characters, but I'm like, they're there. They're just not, we just don't see them. But what's going on in the galaxy and in the events, Vader's walking around. The Emperor's walking around. These are things that are happening, but we're just not seeing them. Right.
Thrawn is there. I'm just not seeing him. Oh, it's a
Thrawn. But isn't that cool? I mean, no. But yes, it is. It's because it's Star Wars.
Yes,
it's still Star Wars.
No, it's not. No. It's cool. ISB is cool. Had they mentioned Lord Vader and that stuff like that,
sure.
Great. Had they got some kind of Yularen and Vader conversation, yeah. I'm in. That's a win.
Yeah, and I honestly, I do think we're gonna get that in season 2. I really do.
There is no way.
Yeah, I really think.
And there's no way the Emperor won't be involved because the Emperor still has to have some kind of say over the Senate, right? So I mean, he has to.
I think we'll see the dissolution. I think we'll see the dissolution of the Senate.
That would be awesome, right? In that last season, near the last episode.
No, I got the exact.
Because it happened right before A New Hope, right? I mean, right during the events. So
Mon Mothma's going to come and he's and I think exactly how it's going to go. She's going to come out publicly, denounce the Emperor, saying you're doing all these things. She's going to run, but then a big hologram of the Emperor in the Senate. He's not going to be. It'll be a hologram of him addressing Mon Mothma's treasonous acts and the kind of like she disgraced all this stuff and basically put price on her head.
Definite
and that would be awesome.
Cameos.
Yeah. I think season 2 Andor is going to bring some things home. The stuff that you guys say missing. So which it is. I'm not saying it's not. It just
you guys.
I said
I know. I'm literally the only person I know and ever read that complains about Andor. I know I am. I know. I read.
No, I've shared the same thing. The one above you says the same thing.
Oh, all right.
Joey's on your team. Joey's like, if there's no Vader hallway scene, I don't even want to see it.
No, it's not that. It's just you guys just no magic.
It's what it was for me. Is Chris is right. Like whenever they showed the Empire, discussing things, that's when I was like, okay,
sure,
start sitting up. And then when they go back
because it's the state of the galaxy,
rebels,
right?
Then I'm like,
yeah,
exactly, dude.
But that's
I'm like, why would I watch this old lady? I said, where's Vader? Where are the stormtroopers? What's going on here?
No, I get it. Were you like that with Return of the Jedi when Mon Mothma was addressing things?
I'm still like that with Mon Mothma now.
Leia did it. General Donovan did it. They all did it. They always had like they're addressing the rebellion and stuff. And
I didn't mind the speech. Nobody had a 10-minute walk to the speech.
Speeches in the original trilogy, like it was all there, and you guys didn't sigh about those. Like it's just more of the same.
What speech should I huff about? You know what speech I love? I love Hux's speech. I love all sorts of speeches and things, right? So,
did you cry too in his speech?
Love the Emperor's speech. I love Jar Jar's speech.
Oh, the Emperor's speech is awesome. Oh my God. You can't say that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He LOL'd at the end. He LOL'd at the end. I heard.
Sorry. I tried to stay straight faced, right?
Oh man.
All right.
Listening to Mon Mothma though talk while rewatching Andor, I'm like, I get a little bit more sympathy for her, but at the same time, by the time Ahsoka rolls around and we're seeing the nonsense is playing out, I'm just like,
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I think what's
you
ruining her.
You almost want to go. You almost want right in a row, right? You almost want to find
Yeah.
every single thing she's in and watch it, every single episode and view of Mon Mothma, just right in a row, and just watch how much you hate her.
I buy it more into Andor
like, F her.
Ahsoka. Like when it comes to New Republic, when it comes to New Republic, there is no excuse. It's a big failure. Yeah. When it comes to like the Andor stuff, this is not, like I said, there is no rebellion. There's pockets of rebellion, not even Oregon. They're not even an alliance yet. You know what I mean? It's kind of like interesting to me to see like these resistance turn in, or the rebellion turn into an alliance. And then
they're not even an alliance until Rogue One. I mean, Rogue One is the first time they form,
and that's where Andor's going to rush it. Right, like I said, it's pockets, and then like, even Rebels dealt with that.
Cells. Yeah.
Like the cells, we're talking to each other.
I didn't know we were a cell. Right. Yeah,
and it's kind of interesting to see that form, because again,
she was shit there too. She was shit there. She was shit as the what? She was just poo. She's just poo. That's it. She's not even a good mom.
That I agree with.
Nothing for Mothma.
All right. So there was a couple things in the pit I wanted to see here. I'm going here. Talk about the prequel stuff. I know somebody asked you, Ernie, was the Lego holiday special mentioned during your show?
No, it was
not. Is there a new one?
That is a good one too. No, it's still the same. They haven't changed it.
But
it's a good
watched
rewatch,
that last week too. I loved it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The Lego stuff is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like if you have never been onto the cartoons, and so you really say no to the Lego stuff, oh my god, you're missing out on great one-liners. Yep. Even catching them right, like after on a rewatch, I've still caught new stuff or the stuff that goes on behind it. The Lego stuff to me is hilarious. Yeah, if I know there's a new Lego special, especially Star Wars,
that's why I was looking. Yeah. I was like, is there something I'm missing? Is there a new one? Because I wish there was. Like,
I thought it was too, and then I pressed it and rewatched it, and no, it's still the same.
I wish, honestly, I wish it was a seasonal thing. Like, especially like those shorts. Every year we got a holiday, the Halloween, and then I mean, come on, what these one-offs is really.
It's there, they're popular.
You know what? Yeah. I wanted to kind of jump back onto the sequel thing real quick.
Sure.
I feel like I got ripped off a bit with them because I was watching it again the other day. I'm still catching new things. They've been out for years. Yeah, I've got Solo memorized, Andor memorized, and the other 6 completely memorized. Right. Yeah. The fact that I can see half the movie still is new and not remember stuff that happened. I'm like, did that happen in here? Who the hell is that? What character is that? And all that means I got ripped off. And I'm like, damn. The biggest thing about Star Wars for me is, for most of us, not the biggest thing, but one of the biggest things is the rewatchability. Yes. Right. Like it's always there. It's always comforting. It's always everything. And I feel like that should have been put in it. They're not part of that, and I wish. No,
it is. It's unfortunate that it to me, like the way I see people seeing the sequels as a separate entity altogether. Like quite honestly, if we woke up tomorrow and those weren't on the Disney Plus shows anymore, like they were just gone, right? And we had Mando and Ahsoka, all these same stuff, nothing changed. It would be awesome. It would be amazing. Like it's amazing, and it's still, to me, it would be amazing.
No, because they're there now. Because they're there, and I would miss it because it's
and we've already seen them.
We don't talk about.
But that's the thing is, will I ever watch them enough now to memorize them?
Because they're a visual media versus a book. Like they weren't, like, say for example, the Thrawn trilogy, right?
Yeah.
You can dismiss those because they were never canon, right? Because they say canon doesn't mean that, like I said, if they came back tomorrow, I'm not saying like this is what I want. I'm just saying if they came back tomorrow and said, look, the sequels never happened. Yes, you all watched them. They have them on there. We did our thing. But you know what? As far as canon wise, now we have this open slate going forward from Ahsoka.
You move them to Legends.
You move them to Legends. I'm just saying I could go, okay, because I haven't seen him enough, like what you're saying, to be like, wait a second, besides the Snoke stuff, besides like Luke and Kylo Ren, like
I would be upset. I would be upset with it because they made the decision for all of us that they would make EU Legends and move forward and keep everything canon. If you can just willy-nilly make things Legends that are canon now,
maybe if it's just one-time deal,
consequence, then there's no consequence to writing. Bad writing was like, we'll just brush it off.
That goes against everything Mooch has said in the past, where he says it happened. We put it in its place and move forward.
I know.
You can't.
But I'm saying is, but I'm saying is because Chris has brought up a great point that I kind of like sat there and went, wait a second, that's correct. I don't have that many memorable things that the sequels that I urge to go revisit, or do I even put that in our
integral to my life?
The only time we put the sequels in our theory talking is only things about like what Snoke and cloning. That's it.
Yeah.
And the Emperor. That's it. Like nobody cares that Emperor had he was trying to clone himself and his offsprings were his clones and Rey's
yeah, if you
we're trying to work it out.
If we're trying to work it out and I saw the Snoke clones, I would just assume that was Sabaoth.
Yeah.
Right. Because I would assume they were playing the Heir to the Empire thing. That's there were some kind of Force user there.
Yeah.
Is what I would.
And I've come to terms with the sequel, like as far as like they're not going anywhere. I've come to terms with it, but I'm just saying, like, I don't I can watch Star Wars and do all these things and talk and do and just never bring up the sequels. Like,
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what sucks about it is I'm just when I was watching, I was like, I'm never going to have this down. Force Awakens, I do. It
comes close. To me, The Force Awakens comes close.
Last Jedi isn't even bad. I've seen Last Jedi quite a few times mainly because we were dissecting the shit out of it, right? Like we really went through Last Jedi.
That was
Rise of Skywalker, man. I'm never ever gonna.
You know how many times I've seen Rise of Skywalker? Like total, maybe 3. Maybe I don't think I finished it. This was my third or fourth max. Yeah, and here's the thing, though. I understand everything that movie did. Yeah, I've understood everything. It's not, but I just there's nothing in there that I need to discuss.
It's a mess
because they go somehow Palpatine returned and then we killed him.
Well, and there's a good point that so this film has Force users, bad guys, good guys, crazy space stuff, lightsabers, and I still don't like it. So that's not the key, right? But that's not the magic.
It has
that'd be good.
Moments. It has great moments in it, and that's the thing that sucks is it's got great moments, but in between those moments is overshadowed
by like
nonsense
bad writing.
Yeah. I've probably seen it 12 times in total, and it's like this desire that I keep watching the sequels wanting to like them more, or the prequels wanting to like them more too. Attack of the Clones wanting to like it more.
Sure.
But that I'm gaining on those. Those are getting better. Rise of Skywalker is not getting any better.
Maybe my subconscious caught. It's like, yes, they're here to stay, but my subconscious, like, if I don't watch them, maybe they'll go away.
And it starts right in the beginning too. How do you start off with Kylo Ren on Mustafar and not like know he's on Mustafar?
Right. That doesn't look a goddamn thing like Mustafar at all.
Why is Vader's castle not in the background, him walking to it and finding this? Why is this in a swamp? Why is the Wayfinder and not
the book had this whole extended
the bog
scene? Yeah, that like the whole
baby-headed monster thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It had the ability to be creepy and cool, but it just every time you think in the sequels that they're going to take a stand, they're going to make a stand, they're going to do something important other than killing a character, they just fell on their faces. They had the opportunity to destroy the Republic, and you think, holy shit, they just blew up Coruscant. No, it's Hosnian Prime. Holy shit, they're going to do this. They're going to be super creepy. They're on what planet is this? It's Mustafar. No, it's not. That's not Mustafar. That's
right.
Nothing. It's like Coke. It's new Coke. They gave us new Coke of Star Wars. It's not as good as the original. It's not as good as Coke Zero. It's just
if you told me, if you sat there and went, hey, we're gonna go to Endor or one of the moons of Endor, we're gonna see the remnants of the Death Star just laid out, and we're gonna walk, I would be like, oh my god. But the reasoning that and how it happened, and it's like we just happen to stand in this perfect spot that this knife was etched in, and it was his works, and it was like,
why not Endor? Why the hell was it not Endor? Why is it Kef Beer? There's no reason to make a new planet just to put wreckage that's the next door neighbor of the planet you did. You had the ability to bring in the Ewoks again, which would have been fun. It's like,
does that really make sense scientifically that the debris would be on some other moon unless the moons were in the same orbit?
Is there anything scientifically explainable at all in J.J. Abrams' writing?
It shouldn't be, but
really?
But yeah, what to me, what you kind of find it a little bit insulting as a viewer, but like, oh, we put it here as like every plot was a convenience of the story moving on. There was no, but it all had this mystique of puzzles and MacGuffins and all these things going forward. Right. They didn't need any of it. They fell in the quicksand right at the exact moment they needed to.
Right.
They said
they find that knife, and like you were saying, the knife that they're holding up in front of this wreckage, and it's like, okay, why does that knife exist? Why does this not? Who forged this knife? Who knew that the Wayfinder was in the tower on the planet that shouldn't be, and forged this knife?
Yeah,
all the
30 years ago,
Sith knife post Death Star destruction.
It makes
no goddamn sense. The Emperor didn't even need Rey. He discovered a diet at the last second. I'm going to use this. So all the stuff that I was building and all these ships and all the Sith, I had this plan, and Ochi was doing all these things for me. I didn't at the very moment goes like, oh shit, I could just do this. And it was like, wow, we're stupid. How are we going to buy into it?
Okay, now to Gavin Connor's point right here, there was quicksand, and we grew up our entire lives knowing that quicksand would one day end us all. You know, anytime you watch TV,
quicksand scared me as a kid. I'm sorry,
was scary. They had to bring that quicksand in.
But what's scary about it really is they use it twice in the sequels.
Yeah.
It also happened in Force Awakens.
In Force Awakens with the TIE Fighter, yeah.
The TIE Fighter when they crashed.
Oh my God,
I thought that was a creature.
They quicksanded twice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
And with our trilogy.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, it was a. We can go on forever. Like I said, the point is, yes, they're there, but the other point is that we don't consume them or really put that in our talk as much as we do like Ahsoka going backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
speaking of Ahsoka, did you guys see that Disneyland, the what is it? The Seasons of the Force is returning next year.
Yeah,
and part of that is the Star Tours is going to have scenes from Ahsoka added onto it.
Oh, it's Ahsoka. Okay, I was going to ask if there was a confirmed, like, are we going to a Mando planet or are we going
Ahsoka's one of them. That they're gonna go to the planets of Ahsoka, which I don't know if that means we're going to see Lothal, or
we're going to go to Space Whale.
Lothal.
Space whale. Oh,
whoa, that would be great.
Yeah, could you imagine? That's got to happen. They take you to the other galaxy,
flying around the Purgles.
There we go.
That'd be
going to Purgles. It shoots us to Peridia, and then we get shot back. You know what I mean?
Really upset that doesn't happen now.
Yeah, right.
So if there's not Purgles on Star Tours, there's a miss.
I saw that stuff that they're bringing back, like for Disney and Star Wars Days and Star Wars Nights, and there was one comment that I saw, and someone says, okay, they're gonna have new characters walking around. I'm like, you know what? And instead of characters, maybe they should add like stunt shows around, like they had in the beginning, like a saber duel out, a timed thing where like more of that stuff, where it's more that you get that sense of immersion than again just meet and greet characters.
I want a Water World type show behind it all, right there, right?
Yeah,
just go full on.
I like that.
If we're going to stick with Rey and Kylo, even if Rey and Kylo were dueling on one of the platforms above the speeders, a place where they're away from the public, but everybody can see what's happening.
Yeah. To me personally, I can care less about meet and greets. Like that's just me. I don't have little kids. I don't have whatever, but I want to see a show, go there and see stuff happening around. It's an immersion. It's a planet, right? It's not, so.
I like that they're also, because I've watched the Disneyland fireworks spectacular from Galaxy's Edge, and it adds this whole new perspective to things, right? And I saw somebody commenting, "Oh, so we're going to get a Star Wars themed fireworks show? How stupid is that?" And they're like, "No, the words in the story say it's a perspective of the fireworks display from Galaxy's Edge."
Right.
People are just looking for any excuse to bitch about anything Disney does, which is annoying.
And that's the trouble I think that we're in today, or Disney is in today. That sometimes it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, they can come out and say, look, we did too much too fast. But I think the sentiment around there is it's a little toxic of what they put out. Things are gonna bomb, knowing that they haven't even begun production yet. People are gonna just say they're bombing and just like they have this like arms folded attitude with anything that's with the Disney stamp on there. Now, how did we get there? You know what I mean? That's the big question, and that's where Disney needs to right the ship on that stuff. I know that's it's
hard. It's a whole nother conversation. It's not just writing. It's
right.
It's
and like I said, for us, dude, we consume Star Wars. Yeah, we consume it all, honestly. But for the most part, I mean, like we Star Wars is at the top of the list, and we just like, to me, pushbacks. It doesn't bother me with like pushing back a project or canceling a project because it was whatever. It just like whatever's in front of me, I'm gonna watch it, even if it's the sequels. Just make them good. Like, just make good stuff. Like that's all. But we're not business.
Yeah. Has Ernie heard anything about behind the scenes Star Wars at Disneyland, since he is Mr. Disneyland?
No, not recently. There's those different dates of the Star Wars nights coming back. The different Star Tour stuff. They are going to bring back the Space Mountain version, Hyperspace Mountain,
which is great.
It's a lot of fun when they switch it to that. There has been more droid testing and more droids out there that I'm
impressed by that. By the way,
we need 2 aliens, to where they did the different droids and they had them out there as a unit. We've had R2 a lot more, and Chopper out there by himself. Great. Yeah. I still agree with you guys as some type of show or build up to that First Order and the Rebels hiding. Yeah. There should be a time, and not the same every day. Maybe it's 2:00 one day, 4:00 the next day. So it's never the same, right? Of a battle. We did catch you. What could happen? You have the sound and the effects.
It'd be cool,
you know what I'm saying? It would switch it up differently. So
we do get the Spider-Man thing over at California Adventure, or we did. I haven't seen that happen in a while. There's no reason why they couldn't do that here.
Right. And it still happens. They still have it's labeled as a show. The other ones are also a show. Cool. Still the same one. The what's his name? The magic guy. His is still one there too.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange show that they have there and like that. Yeah. It's the commercialization of whatever's on Disney Plus is the characters that they have out there.
Now. I don't want it to be a temporary thing in Star Wars. Like if Grogu and Mando are walking around, let's permanently have, like you mentioned, seasons. Make it a seasonal thing. I don't want it to be like Fennec Shand walked around once back in 5 years ago, and you will never see her again. Right. You make it a part of the show, and you can change that seasonal. Paul could be Mando and whatever, which would be great, man. We'll see what happens. I mean, Bob Iger
not going anywhere.
Yeah, he can't leave in 2026. Now that's confirmed, he is leaving in 2026.
We'll see.
Well, as far as that, nothing. I think it's done now. More changes are coming to what we've had, so we'll see what happens. Well, then they've added more nights to the regular. As far as Star Wars night was just the 3 nights, and that's your chance, and that's it. I think they realize that they need to do it for a couple more nights and have that, so that will be brought in.
The biggest thing was, as far as the parks go, not Disney Plus or movies, the parks within 10, and I think it's the next 10 years or whatever, they're putting $60 billion into the parks. And I think Anaheim is getting a chunk of that because there's some big plans going there. And I'm hoping that they really kind of like reinvest in the original vision for Batuu and stuff, like the stuff that they really cut back on, like that third attraction or that restaurant or like aliens and stuff like that. Let's put it back in there and let's make it like somewhere you go, I don't want to leave here. Because quite honestly, I go there, I'm like, that's cool, but nothing is. It's cool to be in there for a moment, but then I'm like, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would love another attraction.
Yeah,
at that. I think we need to stop this theming and stuff. I mean, they learned that with the hotel. Unfortunately, the hotel would have been great, but they overpriced us out. That was honestly the problem.
Overpriced and over Star Trek.
Yes. If you were to have cut it down and did a change, you really could have monopolized on that. And again, you could switch the themes. I don't know why we've said this before. Why they're so scared to touch on the trilogy stuff or prequels
change a flag,
or anything.
Change a flag and make Darth Vader walk out.
You bought the franchise. Use the franchise you bought.
It's a story planet. The whole showing up there, so you change the story for whatever you're going to do right now. It's the same thing as when you change Soarin' over California to Soarin' over the world.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's the same exact ride. You're changing it a little bit.
The resistance symbol is the same as the rebellion symbol. All you got to do is roll that First Order flag up, drop down an Imperial flag, have Darth Vader walk out instead of Kylo Ren, and you're golden. I mean,
I'm sorry. From October to the Christmas stuff, the Christmas tree and all that is done overnight now in a couple of days. But I'm saying as far as the whole thing, you're in a week's time of switching it over.
Yeah.
Then I am damn sure that in a night you can switch over to the Galactic Empire and the Rebels into, you know what I mean?
And
it's just
we've seen classic Boba Fett walking around. They've got classic Stormtrooper armor. They've got Darth Vader walking around. What else do you need to do? I mean, you don't have to go crazy, you know?
You can definitely change Smuggler's Run. And I'm sorry, you don't need a DH, but you can bring in, what's his name, the solo actor. Have him with Chewie in there to do a little
bring
bit
young
of spiel.
Lando.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You can do that as well, too. Do a whole new spiel, and you can have the same ride. Because Hondo is still a part of it. But you just switched Rey out of the equation. So that can
leave Rise of the Resistance as it is. Rise can stay as is.
Rise can stay as it is, and it's a ride, and you've been there. And that's okay. Everybody would definitely understand that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thanks, Brian.
Come on over.
Brian, appreciate the non-toxic but legitimate criticism from it. I think we do try to, yes, we have criticism, but we're not like throw it away, arms folded. So
we still love it. We just want to
thank you. Yes.
Complain every week about why we love it.
But again, thank you for joining us, Brian. We appreciate it so much, man. But so with that, there's always room for growth, especially in that kind of stuff. And we talk Disney.
One of the big ones, just real quick, is Pandora's coming to California Adventure.
Yes, they've announced that.
That is happening. So that's part of that budget-wise. It's going to cost a lot, but it is another section to the park.
Right?
Are they adding on like paths
to California?
Okay.
Well,
that's going to be in DCA. So that is
as
coming.
Soon as the city of Anaheim approves rezoning, it's all going to go nuts. It does. It's so.
I heard they've got enough room to put a third park in there if they wanted to.
If it gets that space. Yes, that was the last thing that they were trying to show and do. Now those hotels went up so quick. That was another thing they wanted to make a point of. I can get why sometimes Anaheim is against them, but then time for change, and they're saying this and that. They did those 2 new resorts and rechanged downtown Disney so fast and so quick to make the point as far as more employment was offered, and this wasn't taking a 3-year event to build something. We can now get it done and add on. Well, so yes, hopefully that does all go through.
There's that stuff from like downtown. Then there's also the Toy Story parking lot there that's rumored to be a somewhere where Disney is exploring for a brand something there. That whole parking lot.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a lot. Like I said, a lot of that money has been allocated to the Anaheim resort, and that's great news for us. I mean, it really is. I mean, like I said, I apologize if we talk Disney a lot, but it's in our backyard, and that's something that and it's Star Wars, and Star Wars is there.
It's silly. I don't understand why a city, or I don't even. Why would they? Why would Anaheim ever fight Disney on anything? Disney
because
runs
because I'll tell you why.
Issue.
It was it was. They just finally the past few years got pro Disney people in the city council. People thought, and they didn't come to terms with it. They didn't recognize that Disneyland makes a huge impact for the city of Anaheim. They thought, no, Anaheim has its own call and stuff. And they had people that fought that. Now those guys are gone. Those people are gone. And now they have this new, refresh faces in there that Disney, like I said, they just came back and gave them a 700-page environmental impact report about adding all this attractions, adding all this up, and how they help the environment. What's the impact of building? They're not messing around. They're like, we want to do stuff here, and there's room to do it. and here's our properties that we already own. You just have to all you have to do is rezone it. That's it. And then it'll be gold, and then you'll see a huge influx of new stuff and jobs and
Disney World Part 2.
Yeah, Anaheim will really grow. And so fingers crossed. It happens in our lifetime, right? Because it's a 30-year plan. You know what I mean? So
damn it,
just wheel me there. Just wheel me in, man. I'll go.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Disney and Star Wars, keep it going after I die.
That's right. We got the good. To me, I think we got the good stuff out of the way anyway. So we got the OT stuff. So, but anyway, guys, let's get out of here. That was fun. We'll do this again next week. How about that? So every Wednesday. So a little scheduling. We're gonna do 2 more podcasts before the end of the year. So up until the 20th of December, then we'll be back on January 3rd. So anybody will skip in between Christmas and New Year's just for a little break. But we got some cool stuff coming up. We got some cool things to talk about. We'll keep our eyes and ears to the ground about what's happening in Star Wars and bring it all here for you guys. So thank you, everybody in the pit. Thank you guys for doing this. I know I said most of it, but I'll kick it to Ernie to kick us out of here. Unless you guys have anything final to say.
Nope.
Okay, Ernie, it is you.
Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show tonight, everybody in the pit, all the new people as well. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and hit all so you don't miss when we're on. We have a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on as well. For those who are new, you can join our Patreon and become part of the Shadow Council. We like to give back and do a lot of stuff like that. You can pick some of the topics to talk about where it'll be a show just for you and much, much more. We have a store with all our merch that's available as well. And then if you're like, hey, yeah, I do want to check you guys out, we have tons of past content that can keep you busy during this holiday season.
Yeah. Put us on in the background.
All the shows and different types of specials and everything, or just follow us on all the different social media, from TikTok with 1-minute reviews, Twitter with some good commentary in there on posts as well, and our IG as well. But if you're into this 24/7 Star Wars talk, come join our Star Wars community over on Facebook. And it's always something Star Wars going on over there. Thank you to tonight's sponsor, Tashi Station Emporium, for all your figure stand needs. They definitely got you covered. It makes a great gift for that person who collects and you think has everything.
That's right.
Go pick up some stands and help them build on their
Does your figures
display.
fall over in the night? Are you just woken by strange sounds? That'd be awesome to do like a Ghostbusters style.
Oh, I want to do that now.
Yeah.
We're ready to add to your display. Yes. Call right now. 1-800 Tashi Station. Yes. They can get you. 1-800 not blue milk.
Not blue milk.
So, yeah. Check out Tashi Station Emporium, and then you can check us out on our individual socials. It is all under our names right now, from Darth Moocher to the Artist Scott Solo, Bootleg Joe 760_760. Your mama's favorite podcaster is Grand Admiral Fromm, otherwise known as Darth Dad on social media.
True.
And I am the Fallen Fett. You can find me every Wednesday night starting at 6 p.m. on the Fallen Fett Chronicles. And then just a real quick note, if you're looking for something, there is a charity event going on Toying Around. The Boba Squadron, another Star Wars show that I'm a part of, will be returning on Sunday. Paul gets to be on finally. The strike is over. Yoko, Kevin, and myself. Hopefully I'll be able to make it, but it is a charity event. All the links are up there. I have it in my story. It's a whole 24-hour event. Toy Migos will be there. Tons of different shows. This is being put on by Kevin, the Butter Bear, and Toying Around. It is such a good cause. Eat your heart out, Jerry Lewis. He's going to make this happen. And it's a good way back to get in touch with Paul for some Star Wars news and like that, since the strike is over. He has been showing up on his stuff. So
I want some Kim's Convenience news, because I've been doing a deep dive on Kim's Convenience, and holy shit, that show is great.
Yes, it really, really was. It was a great start. His whole background story on that and everything that's kind of been done and laid to rest, but his behind the scenes stories, just like we're talking about, is so good too. I'm gonna have to have him on for a couple of those as well. And then his next project is Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Saw a trailer.
Yeah, that's what he has coming up for 24.
So
hopefully some news on that. But again, a good charity event. Go check it out. And then just as we always have had our Toys for Tots and everything that we do in the middle of the year round and like that, remember to go donate a toy where you see it. right now is a perfect time to go check out Ross and buy some of those cheaper toys that then would definitely brighten a kid's day in need who needs it, and drop off some of those collection boxes. There you go. Right. See? Yep. Yes. Ross has Black Series for $6, G.I. Joe Classified. Much more is happening at Ross. But again, it's a good way to go pick up and donate to those Toys for Tots boxes or events that are going on. So please go check it out. And
go to your local Target and buy every Lando you see and drop it in a Toys for Tots bin.
There you go.
We need those pegs refilled with non-Landos.
Yeah. Right. And that's the only way it will happen.
It's 1994 all over again.
All over again.
Yeah.
Many Landos.
Awesome.
And also at more Star Wars news at Ross too is if you have an Ollie's, some of the buckets have gone to Ollie's. I'm hoping that they show up in Ross. Ross has had lightsabers as well. But also now showing up is the Micro Galaxy Squadron sets that I know you guys collect. And people was notified on my show tonight. Some of the chases have been found at Ross as well too, and some of those get high in price. That's hard for people when they're collecting the Micro Galaxy Squadron to obtain. That people are finding them at Ross.
I need the Wedge Antilles chase. So anybody
you need a wedge?
I need a wedge. Yeah.
I might have a way. Yoko actually found 2 this weekend.
I know I was about to chime in, but I was like, well, she's in Washington, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she can send it. Yeah, she's not in Canada like everybody else.
Yes, I need a wedge.
Be at DCon. She's going to be at DCon.
I was thinking about it, actually.
Okay. Well, she will be at DCon. I would definitely try and hit her up. She will be there with High School Creations for his table on Wall XD. So go check her out over there too. And I get a hold of her because, like I said, she was just
I need that one.
She found an extra. Get a wedgie from Yogo. There you go.
A wedgie from Yogo. I'm good.
Yoko.
I'm good.
There you go.
Yoko.
There we go. That's
cool
it.
deal.
Fun.
Awesome.
So much news. Wedgies. So much going on. I do not like wedgies. No.
Thank you, Ernie. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. May the force be with you. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.
Peace.
Scott.
Keep it nerdy, everybody. I was waiting for my cue. I always get a cue.
I feel so forced when I have to tell you to say it.
Some people actually buy underwear that's like a permanent wedgie. It's weird. Women are strange.
What?
That was.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.